If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Can you hear me all right?
I hear you. It says actual recording is higher quality, so that's nice to know.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I am Selene Castrovilla.
I'm Pascale.
And this is Life in Jest. We want to start using the Magic Garden theme song in the beginning.
Is that like public domain yet?
I don't know if that was ever copyrighted. This is bizarre. But these are the things. This isn't one of those shows that influenced us when we were little. You know?
It sure did. Sherlock the Squirrel.
It made me think that gardens could just be magic. And then you didn't need to actually do any work. Remember I was just like, I love the idea of a garden, but I want a magic garden that I don't have to actually deal with. Like, that's too much.
Oh, yeah. I have now, I can't keep a garden. I can't even keep a plant. You saw what happened to that other plant I had.
You don't even try. Let's face the facts here.
No, I definitely didn't try.
Kind of stick it outside and let it. It's on its own. And, it was basically you put it out to die. You put it out to die.
I think I did. Yeah.
You really did. You put an indoor plant outside in the winter.
No, it's a plant. Who cares?
No, that's not nice. Just give it away.
Okay, next time someone actually buys me a plant.
Oh my God. Why do people buy people plants? Plants are such a burden. You should never buy a plant for someone unless you're absolutely sure that they love plants.
I know. Well, this person was trying to be nice. They're a very sweet person.
Oh, I'm not. Of course they are. And the people who gave me the angels without faces are sweet people too.
Yes, that's true.
But you should take into consideration what a person is capable of handling and what they, it's not just what you want, but what you can handle in your life. And a plant is like, it's like what is it called? The straw, the last straw.
I know. Well, I mean, like they know that I've raised 2 children and they seem to be physically fine. I have 2 cats that I keep alive.
No. A child and a cat will all let you know when they need something.
That's true.
Plants will not. A plant remains silent, and that is its downfall.
Yes. And plus, my cat eats plants, so I don't really like to keep anything.
I mean, a lot of those plants are poisonous.
Yes, I can't have flowers. I can't have plants. He either eats them or knocks them over.
You could get, well, not that you will because you'd kill it, but you could get the catnip plant.
What?
The cat, they make.
I tried that. I grew one. How much of a miracle is that? So I found this kit that I bought, I don't know when. I found it while I was looking for something else. So I did what it said, and it actually grew. And those cats had no interest in it whatsoever.
So funny. Cats either love it or hate it, or like have no interest.
Yeah, they looked at me like you can't be serious.
But they like that mouse I bought them with the catnip.
Right? They do. I had to look for new ones of that to buy.
That brand, right, is good. It's good.
Yeah, they love it.
Because it's fresh. That place does a really fresh catnip.
Yes.
What is
one of them, Baxter, sits. He lays on it, and then once in a while he comes, and they do that weird thing with their back foot, like he kicks it with his back foot. Yeah, and then he lays on it.
I know. What is it, like dominance over it? I don't know.
I don't know. He loves his mousey though.
That's exactly what Jesse used to do. It was so cute.
Yes.
I don't remember the name of it, but that is a really good brand.
I had to research because it had no tag on it.
I got it at a nice little pet store here. If I knew the name, I would say it. Maybe if I remember in the future. It is a really good brand.
I know which pet store you're talking about. The one on Austin Boulevard?
I don't mean to. I mean, the pet store's lovely, but I mean to tell people the brand of the catnip mouse.
Oh, just put in hemp mouse on Amazon and you will see it.
There's more than one.
Yeah. All right. I don't know.
I'll find out if I remember. I don't know, but it makes a difference. It's like a small company that does it in fresh batches, and it really makes a difference because when they're manufactured by some big company, that catnip is very stale by the time it gets to you.
Yeah.
It sits around in the factories, and also they probably mix it with other stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, these are good. If you have cats, these are definitely what you want to
We're
get.
telling them it's good, but we're not telling them what it is.
I don't know. Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, we have gotten already off topic.
Well, we don't
We
really
didn't even announce the topic.
we have no topics. I wanted to tell a story. Remember last week? You probably don't, but I remember because I was just listening to it.
Okay.
Doing a mild edit. This is going to be the unedited version. I'm just going through it and taking out all our likes. Like, out. I can't just blanketly eliminate all the likes because sometimes it actually is needed in a sentence. So,
okay.
Case by case. But remember I mentioned the boneless rib thing?
Yes.
Yeah, but I never.
It's Gina.
Yes, and I said only Gina.
Can I say her name? I had a dream about her last night.
You had a dream about Gina last night?
Yeah, and she had short blue hair.
Short blue hair? Well, she does have short hair, but why was it blue?
I don't know. She was wearing a hood and took off the hood, and she had short blue hair.
And then what happened?
Oh, we were talking about something. We were at somebody's house, and we were having a conversation. I don't know. Well, I think Barbara was in it too. Really? You guys have all met Barbara, right?
Barbara is my mother-in-law, and Gina is my sister-in-law.
Yes, but Barbara's been on here, right?
Barbara was on the special one about Karen Reed, one of them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird, whatever. And we were talking about Katrina.
That's her daughter.
Yes, and I was telling her that last time I saw Katrina, she was so sweet and nice. I don't know why I was telling her that, but I was, and it's true.
This is what you dream?
I have very lucid dreams every single night.
Really, if I'm lucky, I'll remember a spot of it, like a little flash of it. But I want to remember so badly, but I can't grasp the whole things. And mostly, I don't remember anything.
I have very vivid dreams that I usually remember. Yeah.
If it's vivid for me, it's basically a nightmare.
Really?
Something involving loss. Casey or Michael, my boyfriend who passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very, as in life. I always concentrate on the sad things.
You do the sad things. I do the weird things. My dreams are weird, but
I think it's about being a writer or a creative, I will say. For example, songwriters often write a sad, poignant song, right? There's something really essential in our sad memories, something so universal, and that's why we concentrate on it when we're being creative. If you boil down the funny stuff, it's usually sad too. It's just said
yes.
But in any case, I think it has to do with me being a creative. That's why I remember did you read Eat, Pray, Love, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
which is weird because that is not my type of book.
Well, I thought she writes very well. It is a very boring story, you realize when you see the movie. This is so stupid.
It depends on where she is. Like Italy, I'm all with it.
Oh my God.
And then it's
stuff with the praying, it has to go. It has to go.
Yeah. Like Italy, she had fun. She was eating. She was drinking. I was like, okay.
It's so boring though. Like the way she writes it. When you write well, anything could be tolerated in a well-written book, right? You just sort of.
Oh, listen. But then she goes to India, and
no, it's awful.
I have no interest in that stuff at all.
Scrubbing that floor. Stop scrubbing the floor. Stop praying. And she married the guy who. Spoiler on all this, by the way. But by the way, the guy was really. I like that guy who played her husband, Javier, whatever.
I like him too.
Very attracted. I love those Latin men. I love them.
Sometimes I do. It depends. I mean, I like Benicio del Toro better though.
Yeah, I like him too. They've got spark. They've got that. They've got that thing. They've got that edge. They've got the rhythm. There's just like something about those men. I adore them. I do. There's my secret.
Listen, when I was a teenager, I wanted to marry Roy from Menudo, so maybe there's something to it.
I don't know. I don't really know Menudo. I know one of them got molested by that guy, didn't
he? Yeah.
But Menendez brother.
Well, Ricky Martin was in Menudo.
Right. I think I knew that. But one of those boys got molested by the Menendez brother. But anyway, what I wanted to say about Eat, Pray, Love was that she has a line where she goes to the shrink, and the shrink says, what did he say? I think it's something like, you have a tendency toward the melancholy. Like, in other words, no matter what, you'll never
Yeah.
be cured.
Yeah.
And I just think that's a lot of people, but especially anybody that's creative. We are kind of mulling over that stuff. And
I know. There's a great song by Nirvana, and one of the lines is, I miss the comfort of being sad.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's their last album, so I guess they were already, famous and blah, blah, blah.
I wonder why he doesn't feel comfortable being sad anymore. What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe, who knows? He wasn't comfortable with being famous. Things got weird for him.
Interesting. Oh, so now everything was intrusive. That's interesting. Yeah. Huh. Well, if he didn't want to be famous, he shouldn't have been. I mean, that notebook that they published of his is incredible. And he wrote the letter to the record company. Are you going to represent us or what? Like,
Yes.
that's what he wants to be famous.
It was, I think, both sides for him.
I do understand that. And he had a lot of demons, but I will say I like Nirvana. Don't get me wrong. I'm always interested in these stories of people, and I like their music, but I wouldn't call myself I'm not going to put on, oh God, I said I'm not going to put on Nirvana. I'm not going to put on music at all. I think I made that clear in a previous episode.
Yeah, you did.
But it's not, I would never have just put on Nirvana at any time in my life. But when it comes on the radio, I enjoy it. That's the kind of thing,
Oh, yeah, I put them on.
But that notebook was so incredible to go into his mind. I recommend anybody just read it for a study. It's inside somebody, a creative person, to go inside their mind like that. It's really amazing because you can see just like how things are just jumping all around in him and all these different things. And all of a sudden he writes down the phone number for Norditrack,
I know.
And I was like, if only he bought a Norditrack, his life might have been saved.
Yes. Well, it's the Kurt Cobain Journal. And yeah, you should check it out. It's really good.
It looks like a Mead notebook. They put the cover on it.
It does, yeah.
It's great. So
I think Courtney Love has one like that too.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
I believe so. I feel like I read that.
Really?
Read the book. I read a lot of music biographies.
Yeah, I find it all very interesting. Looking inside any person can be interesting. Like Howard Stern interviews just anybody, and it's interesting because he knows how to delve, right? You have to have a good interviewer, but particularly creative people, it is really interesting to go into their minds.
I'm the only person who could not care less about celebrity interviews. I just don't care.
It depends on the people. If they're vapid, no. I just want real. Remember I talked about The Game, and he was on Howard, and I never cared about The Game. I mean, I didn't, not that I didn't care. I didn't even know The Game. He's a rapper. But he talked about how it felt to be shot. That was completely compelling. If you can get someone...
Are you sure that wasn't 50 Cent? Didn't 50 Cent get shot?
Yes, he did. We've had this conversation. Yes, 50 Cent.
Have we? I remember nothing.
The Game talked about one time in particular when he got shot 5 times at once or something like that.
Yeah.
About the feeling of dying. He thought he was going to die. And it was so compelling. He said he didn't feel any pain. You go numb. That was fascinating. And I can't even tell you everything, but I can remember the one thing I didn't remember was his name at the time when I told you last time. And if people can be honest, who's really interesting? Chelsea Handler does a great interview because she's open and honest.
I have read all her books. I've never watched her comedy specials for some reason, but I really like her.
For some reason, comedy special also not something I'm going to put on, but if it's on, Casey always wanted me to watch them with him, so I watch them.
Yeah, I like them. I don't know.
It's just not something that says, let me put that on, But what it is about her is that she's really honest and she's self-deprecating. She doesn't edit anything out, and that makes for an interesting interview. But some of these celebrities...
Oh, and it makes for great books, too. I love her books.
I love the title of Are You There, Vodka? It's me, Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah. It's like, but you could see the evolution. It's like that Howard thing. It's like you could see, if you read the first book to the last book, how much she's changed. I'm doing this with my hands, like anybody can see it, but whatever.
Well, the hand gestures are totally necessary to the conversation, so. I do it too. All right, I've never read her books. I did get one. I found, this is weird, but I found one Goodwill once and I bought it. But you know what I'm going to do when I get my library card back? When I finally do that thing that I need to do, I'm going to get her books on tape and listen to them. How's that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think she reads them, so yeah, it's
Right,
good.
it'll be entertaining.
Yes.
But I like her. I mean, she could be a bit. Remember 50 Cent? When he talked about dating her, and he said he called her the gator because you got like
Yes.
gotta hold her down.
That I remember, yes.
He was funny too, but I don't remember him talking about getting shot. Maybe he did, but the game was the one. But anyway, all this to say that I wanted to tell the story about the boneless ribs because I mentioned it and I never told it. So
Okay.
what happened was I used to have the store, gift basket store. I'm sure I've mentioned it many times before. And Gina was working for us to make baskets. You know, we hired people, you work there, and
Yeah.
we were making baskets and we ordered Chinese food. And the guy brought the Chinese food and she had ordered boneless ribs. And she was like, these ribs are dry. When she was eating them, the guy was gone. You know what I mean? She just couldn't tolerate these ribs. They were dry. Like, where she complained. Like, I don't know, but you and I would probably just eat the stupid ribs. Like, we wouldn't eat them
I
at
know,
all.
but Gina does not play.
Gina, like, if something's bothering her, she's going to say it. So she called up and complained about the boneless ribs. So this man stormed back into the store. We weren't that close to the restaurant either. The restaurant was in Island Park and the thing was in Oceanside. It was like, I don't know, not that far, but it wasn't like around the corner or anything.
Oh, the one we always used to go to, that one?
Island Park Chinese. Now
Yeah, the one that was on my side. Yeah.
Now it's a different whole.
Their food was good,
It was
normally.
wonderful, yes. But I love those people too. They were the fighting
I
people.
know, they were so nice, yeah.
But they were lovely people, but they would fight with each other. It looked like they were going to kill. It looked like one time, I think she threw a knife.
Living and working with somebody's rough.
Yeah. But he came storming in and he said, who say boneless rib dry? And she stood right up to him and she said, I say boneless rib dry.
You gotta love Gina.
I don't even remember what happened after that. Did he take them back? I don't remember even what happened. That's really the story. And we used to always go around and say, who say boneless rib dry?
So it's just the showdown between the two of them that was good.
So then one time when it was, I don't know what was going on. Something very serious was happening. I don't know, something involving Tony's other sister. I don't even remember. But Gina and I started whispering about the boneless rib dry. And Tony's grandmother, Nanny, got so angry. She's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you laughing? I don't even want to say her name. And tell me why you laughed. So we looked at her. We were like, boneless rib dry.
Oh, Nanny. Was she still mad?
I don't remember, but that's the one time she ever got mad at me. I wasn't. Well, of course, we weren't laughing at his sister. Why would we?
I know, but she was probably having this serious moment.
I don't even remember why everything was so serious. I don't. But to this day, I texted Gina, boneless rib dry. Oh my gosh! And then we ordered food from another one, but she was afraid to order the boneless ribs, right? So she ordered something.
Well, yeah, she got burned before.
He was burned. So we ordered the Chinese food. She said to the delivery guy, how are your boneless ribs? And he goes, little dry. Boneless ribs just are dry. Eat it on the damn bone, lady.
You know, I feel like I used to eat them, and I feel like they were never not dry.
That's what I'm saying. They probably are. Probably the idea, ribs probably just get drier because they cook. I don't know. I'm not an expert on ribs, but I'm saying.
I don't know. I can't even believe I ate those. It's so gross.
I know. It's like another lifetime ago, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The other day I was making a delivery. I know I told you this, but I didn't say it. I say it here. I went to the wrong place. The address was so close to there's a mini emergency room in Long Beach. I say mini. It's like an urgent care. It's owned by the hospital, but it's an emergency room. Like that's
right where the hospital used to be.
Yeah, well, down the block from it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that general
on the edge of the street. So that's what led me to believe that this delivery, because I've delivered there before to people. So unfortunately, I was wrong. This is what happens when you assume, right? But I went in there and I made an ass of myself. I'm like, this is for so-and-so. They're like, who? And you're like, what? Like they're trying to look it up. They're like, there's nobody by that name here. Like, so I go out and the guy worked in like thing right adjacent. It was a little, I don't know, watchtower, not watch, watchtower. And it was like a little security booth or something, right? He
Yeah.
worked there, maybe not little, I don't know. He worked in a booth. So the guy came at me. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just thought it was here. He goes, I know what you were trying to do. You were trying to resuscitate those chickens. There's no bringing them back. Because you were like,
security guys got jokes.
security guard, but he was coming out of that booth. But anyway,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I thought that was really funny. He's like, there's
That
no
is funny.
chickens. A bunch of small creatures died. A bunch of small animals died for this big animal. I'm like, yeah, that's basically how it goes.
Ooh,
Yeah, bad.
that's
Sad.
dark.
He was funny. Oh my God. Yesterday I was getting an MRI. And I get the stand-up MRI, which is weird that they call it that because I was sitting. But the idea of it was that it was open. They don't lay you down in a tube, right?
Yeah.
I can't stand being in a tube. I can't stand it.
I only like the open one. I will never do the closed one
Right,
again.
exactly.
Never.
Well, when I had my brain tumor removed, I was in the hospital, and obviously, and they were like, "We have to do an MRI."
They did.
Do an MRI, and there was a possibility of going for an open MRI, but they would have had to like be out by ambulance, and they obviously didn't feel like doing that. They were like, we're just going to give you a little something. They injected me with something. I didn't care what happened. I was like,
see, maybe I'd do that.
Drugs. Somehow, but it's weird. It's weird. But so I did this thing, and they leave a TV on. And the minute I looked at it, I'm like, oh, why didn't I tell the guy to change the channel? It was one of those cooking shows. Remember, they always leave those stupid cooking shows on in this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, I had to look at meat. It was some Tuscany cooking show, and they had these huge slabs of porterhouse steak there. And I was like, oh, I was so sad. And guess what they did? This was horrible. They showed a picture of the actual cows that they were. Like, I don't know if the ones.
Ew, what?
Showed like a clip of these cows with babies to show that this was the meat. I'm like, oh my God, what kind of people could eat these chefs? How could they even do this?
That's pretty gross.
It was awful. I'm like, why?
I know, but let's not judge people who eat meat, even though it's gross.
I'm not judging anybody, but for me, it was really sad. You don't want to see that.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I haven't eaten meat in like, I don't even know how long.
I just don't know what would make them put the picture of the cows, but
yes.
I wish they would have just put on Judge Judy. They had that in the waiting room. Fine. Anything. You really can't hear it anyway. They put in this a captioning. It's just the picture you're left with. But anyway, why did I even say that? Oh, that was our food episode.
That was the mini segment.
So I also we're never going to get to the main thing.
Let's start. Why? What else do you?
I did want to talk about something else, but I will put this into the next episode. Can you remind me that I had something to say from the last episode? Or maybe
I'm sorry. Who are you asking?
You.
I don't even remember what we talk about.
All right. I'm putting it here.
I have the worst memory completely. Just terrible.
But we can recall things from Howard Stern all the time.
It really depends.
We do, though. I mean, for example, we quote things. We are so good at that.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't.
It's interesting how minds work, right? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
For example, do you remember Ted the janitor?
No.
Oh, wow. I got one you didn't know. Well, he's from NBC. Did you listen? Well, they played them. Maybe you didn't know that.
I might not have listened at that point. When was that? I might have been kind of young. I might have not even known.
I was in high school, but also they've played them, on replays and stuff. But anyway, well, I'm not going to quiz you on Howard Stern. We should do a special Howard Stern episode, like just for people that would be interested, because we have a lot to say about it. Anyway.
Oh, that would be so fun.
I think it would. Yeah. Okay. So the main topic is dating, which we have talked about in the past, but here we go again.
What a good time. I don't even know how kids these days date. I mean, it's just got to be awful.
Yeah. They do those apps too, and they have as much trouble, well, probably a little less trouble than us because, but I was talking to Casey's friends and they were complaining about it. It is atrocious.
Oh, yeah. We had that whole conversation. Yeah.
Because there's this assumption of a hookup and everybody's just deemed more disposable. It's a horrible, horrible way to be.
Yeah, and they don't seem to meet anyone in person.
Yeah, I mean, Michael met my daughter-in-law Reem in college, and that was great because they were in a situation where they were thrown together, and I think it is so much easier to meet someone if you're in a place where you can meet somebody. Out in the real once they're working, it's very hard to. What are the odds that you're going to click with somebody there? Like you might. A lot of people do meet in workplace, but a lot of
Uh,
people, you know.
yeah, it happens.
But in my case, there's nobody here that I can meet. Hello. If I'm delivering, what am I supposed to say? You know what I mean? Like, hey, you single? You know, it's not going to happen. I did get a weird message from somebody on the way to delivering. I guess I have my picture on the app, which, okay. And he was basically trying to pick me up. And
Oh, look at that.
I'm like, no, I wasn't. Especially like, you can't do that on the app. I mean, I just don't think that it's appropriate and weird. It was just odd. So
Maybe he liked the way you delivered that chicken.
no, it was before I delivered it because once you deliver it, it goes. You know what I mean?
He was trying to get it before.
I don't know what he was trying to get, but I didn't. I just said thank you, but I have to remain professional or something. It was odd, and it was, it gave me a weird feeling.
Yeah. Well, it's inappropriate.
It was. My friend said a guy met her in a bar, immediately tried to get her out. Like, so want to hang out? And she's like, well, we're hanging out now. He's like, you want to go somewhere else and hang out? Like, even like,
I say no, thank you.
and this guy didn't even buy her a drink or anything. Like, jeez, can't even get a drink.
Oh, yeah.
But like, first of all, it's rude, and it's rude for so many reasons. It's like you haven't even gotten into any kind of conversation about anything, right? You're just gonna go pick up and go have sex. Like, what? How you're picking on the wrong people, dude. Like, we're a little old for that crap. And I never wanted to do that. I mean, you have to get into somebody, a little bit. You have to connect.
And plus, it could murder you. You're always saying that Dateline shit.
That's the next thing I'm gonna say. It could be very dangerous. Even if the bar the guy, I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah, that's true.
It's that there was that book. Wasn't it a book and a movie, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, about a woman that went slept with a bunch of guys, all that stuff?
I've heard of it, but I've never read it or seen the movie.
That's the book, and I think
I mean, it was pretty famous. I have no idea.
I didn't see it either, but I'm pretty sure she winds up dead from one of those guys,
Oh, my.
Yeah. Well, it's, we live in I think any time is a dangerous time to do that. It's like playing Russian roulette. You never know when that bullet's going to hit. Exactly.
Do you think of Sal when you say Russian roulette?
Rush and roulette.
And roulette. I know that was a Howard Stern thing. I'm sorry, but I always think of the guy. He says rush and roulette instead of Russian roulette. He says a lot of things wrong.
Why do you think they call it that? Because Howard, of course, eggs it on. He's like, I don't know. I guess you're in a rush just to get it over with.
Well, there's a guy that we know, and I'll tell you who it is after because I don't want to throw them under the bus on here, but he used to say Pete and Tom instead of Peep and Tom.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And I was actually with your ex-husband, the two of us, and he said it, and we laughed so hard. I think it took us like 10 minutes to tell him he was wrong because we were laughing. Pete and Tom.
I know it's like, I guess he just heard it and didn't stop to think about that's funny. I don't have any interest in going to bars at all anymore. It's just not for me. I don't have the patience.
Apparently me neither. We went to one the other day. I could not wait to leave, honestly.
Because it requires patience in a certain kind of mood set, and I'm going to actually join a widow app, even though I'm not technically a widow because I wasn't married, but I did live with my boyfriend that died, and he was my partner for 30 years. So I would say that counts. There's a dating app specifically for widowers. It's called widowers. It's called Chapter 2. In my case, Chapter 3. And
oh my,
yeah. So I'm going to join, but of course I was trying to fill it out on my phone, and you should never do this while you're doing other things because I had filled out a bunch of it, and it took me forever to find a good picture, that kind of thing.
Remember that happened to you recently with something else?
What?
Remember that? It was recently, and you were filling something in. It was Airbnb. Can we say Airbnb?
Yeah. Well, why not?
I mean,
It happens to me repeatedly. It's very frustrating. And so I really have to do it on my computer. But then I finally found a picture. I realized I'm now going to have to, I can airdrop it into my computer. It's not a big deal. By the way, I have a problem with my computer. Something happened to the screen. And I don't know why I stopped buying the protection. It's so dumb. I always buy protection for things when I don't need them, don't need it. But I didn't get it for my Mac. And now my Mac, I brought it in. And like screen has got these rainbows and stuff. And she's like, yeah, it's going to cost like 500 something to fix. I'm like, you could get a new computer. I mean,
really.
Not exactly, but I mean, almost,
Yeah. And it's not worth putting $500 into.
I said, how much does a new one cost? And she's like, she must have felt bad for me because she's like, well, and they do have them in Costco. Who said them in the Apple store?
She was being honest with you.
Because I was a little distressed. I mean, I was thinking this computer's not that old. I got it when I was in California. It's like maybe 3 years old. It's not, why didn't I keep the coverage? I just didn't.
I don't do coverage for anything anymore. You know what it
is too? Ever since I've been in grief, I just can't think straight. I don't, it's the same thing as when the hurricane hit. Remember, I was a mess. I have functioned under a certain level, but it's like, it really requires like focusing into that thing. Like right now, like I'm focusing into the podcast, right? But when it comes to, say, an email comes in and says, hey, would you like to renew your Apple Care? I don't register it. I do remember somewhere in my mind, but I just kind of let that stuff go and I don't deal with it. And this is what happens. So now I've got the screen with the lines and I don't know, I'm just going to keep, it's bad when it whenever I close it and I open it again, the lines go up and then down. I'm like, oh boy. But I keep hanging in there. I have carbonite, so all my files are protected, right? And that's the main thing, right?
Yeah, that's the important part.
I mean, my pictures, my manuscripts, these things, the Riverside app. I mean, that's silly because the Riverside app, I can put in anything. Oh, my Riverside app, I can't get it anywhere else. But so I'm going to hang in there. Carbonite, but I learned about Carbonite on Howard Stern years ago, and I just have it. I love it.
Yeah, I remember they advertised.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with it for a while, and hopefully it'll last for a while. And because I was looking, and then while I was there, I was trying to look. I see they have the iPads, and they have the little, what's that thing called? The keyboard. I'm like, I would get that because then you could write on it and stuff. That looks like fun, right?
Don't you have one?
I have like a Redondo, like a fake one. That's right. I wonder if I don't think I could I possibly use a Redondo $80 fake iPad? What is it called?
I don't know.
Could I use that to write on?
If my iPad wasn't so old, I would give it to you. Someone gave me a Kindle and someone gave me an iPad, and I feel really bad because they were really nice. Yeah. And I did use them for a little while, but really, I have no use for them.
Well, I at one time did have an iPad, but I had the mini one, and that was just too mini, like for me to really write on. I need a certain size to write on. But this Redondo thing is a regular size of what an iPad would be. I bought it to take.
Yeah, I've seen it.
If I could figure out, and it came with a keyboard, I guess I could try. But I don't feel like. Do you feel that I would be able to do all this stuff on that Redondo? I don't even know the name of it. It's like Redondo, Dondo, Indu.
I have no idea. I don't even have a computer anymore. I don't use the iPad. I don't have a reason. Like, you're a writer. You have a reason to use them. But also I do everything on my phone.
I use it for this. I know you're using your phone, and I applaud that, but I can't do that. I need more. I need bigger screen than that. Yeah, but I know your iPad. You probably can't mirror your iPad. Not iPad. You can mirror your iPhone onto a monitor. Maybe I could do that.
Oh, yeah, you could do that.
Why don't I do that? I'm going to write this down. So I am going on that chapter 2, so we'll see how that works out.
Lowe's knows how to set off your July 4th with savings. Right now, buy one, get one free on select one-coat coverage interior paint via Visa gift card rebate. Plus, get 2 select 2 or 2.5 quart red, white, and blue annuals for just $10. Hurry, these July 4th deals won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for more details.
I'll keep you guys posted. If
Yeah,
I
good
ever
luck.
fill it in properly.
I do not have the energy for that at all.
I think if I could meet a widower, that's somebody that was in a committed relationship for a long time and only ended because they lost the person. So I think that's the kind of person that might be good to date.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good.
We'll see. When I first Googled about widower websites, they tried to give me like Match. I guess it means that you can put down you're a widow. That's not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And then the other, all of those, eHarmony. No, thank you. Like I've had enough of those guys.
I don't even have the energy to fill out. It's like you're writing your own biography.
Yeah.
Well, duh.
I
But
think
you
that
know,
we should put less
it's
because I don't think the
yeah.
guys even care. I think they don't like a long biography.
No, I mean, I'll flick through it to make sure there's no things that I hate about people.
Right.
You know, like there's definite no's for me, and I will make sure there are no definite no's. And that pretty much eliminates
Most of them.
85% of people because I have no patience for shit anymore. I just don't.
Well, I hear you. Well, I'm going to see. I will keep everybody posted. That's something to give updates on. So, but I just wanted to give some stories of dating that we had. I don't always think about this guy, but this was just so ridiculous. Okay. I had a date with this guy and he was a teacher, right? So that sounds cool, you know?
Yeah.
So we
Uh-oh.
went to a Thai restaurant and he's wearing a Star Wars shirt. What? He's wearing a Star Wars t-shirt on our first date. I mean, okay.
Yeah, I like Star Wars, and I would probably be annoyed. I mean, it's the first time. You really should wear a decent shirt.
And he also, what he paid, had a Star Wars wallet. Yes.
Wow. Like I said, I like Star Wars, but I'm not sure I could get on board with that.
And he said that he wanted to buy me a lightsaber so we could play with them. Okay.
That is all not first date stuff.
And it's also so not me at all. You know,
Yeah,
I don't really
that would be more me.
The basic problem also is what do I like? You know, what do I want? You know,
Yes.
But he also, this is so, he also loved the band Fish. Now, this is one thing I don't want to do is go to a Fish concert.
Oh, that's one of my definite no's. I have no. Oh my God.
Just hearing about them makes me crazy on Howard. I don't want a jam band. If I go to, I do like concert, but I want concert to be just regular music. Like I don't want any jamming.
Oh yeah. You know, I love concerts. I am a big concert goer, but it would be like going to the Grateful Dead. I have no. If your song is 20 minutes long, I gotta go.
It's enough. So, and then he was telling me, well, he had tickets for like every show they were having upcoming.
Yeah,
in Garden.
Because that's their.
He really
that's the way their fans are.
That's sad. And he was looking for someone to go. I'm like, I'm not going. No, I'm a no. Hard pass. So then
he was barking up the wrong tree.
And then he told me he likes psychedelics. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like what? He actually told me at one Fish concert, he was hanging out with younger people and he got annoyed with them because they couldn't handle the drugs like he could. I'm like, what? This is a date. Can you
imagine? You got to know if someone's going to Fish, they like drugs.
Is that always?
Once again, it's just like the Grateful Dead. If you're going to those shows, it is most likely that you are a drug taker, definitely.
They do those balloons where they suck it in. You're killing cells. You're killing
it's so silly.
Cells. It's not.
It's like doing whippets. Remember how people would do whippets?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand any of these things when you're killing your brain. Clearly, you feel it dying. No. Do not value your brain. What are you doing?
No. Well, you were never a drug person, so.
At least if you feel something instantaneously happening to your brain, maybe it's not a good idea. That's all I'm saying.
Right? Yeah, people that do those are not thinking that.
I don't get it, but well, that was that guy. Do you want to tell a story? Do you have anything?
Of course I do. I will tell the most silly ones.
Okay.
The ones where, well, you know my top one. So this guy wanted
the
to
one that
take me
said
out.
stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he would always say everything was and stuff like that. Instead of a period at the end of his sentence, it was and stuff like that. So already super annoying. Then he goes, I'd like to take you out. I'm going to take you to IHOP. I was like,
Wow,
what?
it's pretty woman's dream.
What?
I have.
That is the first place you'd like to take me to dinner, and you're proud of that? It's like, you've got to be kidding. And I was like, absolutely not. You have to go. There is nowhere. And he was one of those people, he's like, I want to show you my sneaker collection. I was like,
I just came to my head.
excuse me? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, how old are you? Anyway, this was a very good looking guy. It was just the minute he opened his, and he was very nice, but he opened his mouth and I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
I know.
You're a ridiculous man. IHOP. Are you?
Problem.
IHOP is somewhere you go when you have been dating for like 3 years. It is not where you take somebody on a first date.
It's just like go out to breakfast one day after you've been together for a long time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got to up your game. And then I had this other guy, which was also a big no for me. He goes, can I take you out to this place? And I'm like, yeah, all right. And he goes, I have a buy one, get one coupon.
Oh my God.
And once again, we had never gone out for a meal. This was the first place that he wanted to take me.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? If you had used the coupon and not told me,
right,
that would have been fine. But don't lead with,
right,
I have a coupon. What are you even saying?
That's wow.
Once again, that is years into your relationship.
You're married with kids and you want those coupons. That's
yeah. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not trying to be a snob here, but you gotta.
If they don't start out being generous, it's just
right.
It's just
if that is your putting your best foot forward, then I don't know, when things start sliding downhill, there's not that far to go.
Exactly. Because the first date, they're supposed to be putting on their best effort.
Yes. And IHOP and a coupon are not.
No. It is sad because that guy was so good looking, the one guy. Oof, he was.
The other one was very good looking too. See, that's why they're still single if they're that good looking.
It is offensive. He was kind of young though too. Right? This was a long time ago, right? This was a long time ago, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was fairly young too. Yeah, I was a little older, I would say. But
no, I'm just saying he might not be single now. We don't know. He might have matured. He might have.
No, I saw him a couple of years later and he was dating my friend's neighbor.
Oh boy. He might have found a girl that was very excited by IHOP. You never know.
I hope he did. I really do.
Maybe would it be funny?
It just wasn't me.
If he proposed, like maybe they had them bake the engagement ring into the pancake or something.
Can you imagine? He also was like, "Can I meet your kids?" I'm like, "What?
Oh my God.
I just met you. What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
that's insane.
That's a huge problem when people want to go forward so fast.
Yeah, I'm like, I felt like going, and what was your name again? Like, what are you talking about?
I always wanted to talk. He's like, can we talk? Like, what? You told me. That's how I know. Like, I feel like I was.
You know how I am too. I just, I'm not a terrible person, but when I'm done with your nonsense, you will 100% know it. I can't keep it in. Once you've said something like that to me, I can't be nice. I just can't.
Well, I think that's good. At least when you're done.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago. I have less patience than that now.
Yeah, it's true. That's yeah. Well, he wouldn't get very far now at all.
I know. Somebody was talking to me the other day, and she was like, "Oh, if you don't want to hear this, let me know." I was like, "You don't know me very well. I would absolutely let you know."
It was nice of the person to say that.
So what she was telling me was interesting enough, so I didn't stop her.
The people that have that kind of consideration are the more interesting people anyway, because it kind of goes hand in hand,
Yeah, but I was like, we don't know each other very well, but you will learn that if you irritate me, I will absolutely cut you off.
I have gotten to that point too, and it's very hard for me. I used to find it extremely hard to like walk away from that kind of a thing, that kind of a
Oh,
conversation.
yeah, me too. I would try to be nice, and all it was doing was irritating me.
Yes. Why move forward with something that's not bringing you any kind of joy? It's not ever going to be good. And so,
Yes, that is the lesson here
yeah,
for anybody out there who is still being nice and not, doing what they need to do.
that's right.
We're not here for that long. Enjoy the time
Right.
you have
Yeah.
and don't fill it with stupid people.
Yeah, I think we're kind of raised to be polite, but no,
Especially women. Women are raised to be polite and nice and put up with such shit.
really do. I know, it's so true. Well, I want to tell you about a guy. I am a writer, as you know, and he was trying to write something, and I agreed to meet him for coffee. This is where no good deed goes unpunished comes in, right? Yeah, I was trying to help him, but also he was writing a fantasy, and I'm like, I don't write fantasy, I write reality, and it's very hard for me to comment on this because I don't write that genre. And so
Yeah.
switched to full scale coming on to me, full scale, and I'm like, no, I'm not interested. I just wasn't interested, which is rare for me to have no interest. Like sometimes I want to see the potential, but I mean,
Yeah.
he was very clearly something's going on with this guy, right? Like you could if I could tell off the bat, because now I can. I have much better radar now. But at the time, my standards were much lower, and I was not filtering people like I do now. And still, his crazy was showing, right? So I was like,
No,
oh
that's
no.
not good.
And I got up and I went in my car and I started driving away. And this man threw himself on my windshield. His
Wow,
face
really?
pushed in front of me.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Said, I'm calling the police, and I got my cell phone out, and then he left.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Thank God it was when we had cell phones. I really could have been in trouble.
Holy cow.
He threw himself on my window. I didn't even know this guy. I don't remember his name. I didn't know him. I was just being nice. I met him at some sort of a meeting somewhere. I used to go to a million things, and I was just being nice. And this is where kindness, see what I mean? You could get killed just being kind, not even going on a date that far, not even, forget about going to somebody's house. Just anywhere somebody could attach themselves to you.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lunatic.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like a
definitely.
lunatic. Okay, do you remember the guy? It actually is in Lunar Rising, the more complete story of it. But the guy, I unfortunately decided I like people at the time, not anymore, but at the time, I kind of got infatuated with a person and then mistook that for, wow, this could be something, right? And so I let it go with him. And then I realized, like, yuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I broke up with him. I think you're going to remember the story. But he insisted he come by and see me. And unfortunately, I allowed it. This is a big mistake. When you break up, because I hear, like on Dateline, a lot of these stories are, oh, they let him come back for one more conversation. They went for one more meeting and the person was never seen again, right?
Yeah. By the way, why is anybody having this conversation after? It's over. Move on.
He wanted to give me what was a very long soliloquy, like hours long, about why we should be together. Well, and unfortunately, I let him come, and he brought me flan, which I couldn't resist, and so I accepted the flan, and that sort of gave me permission to stay longer.
Oh, you're lucky you didn't roofie that flan.
Well, and then I had asked you to come by because I was afraid.
Oh, yes. My God, so awkward.
Come over, you handed me a book. And you're like, this is the book you asked for. And I'm like, what book? Because I
was trying to have something to say.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I was just going to show up. That's weird.
We didn't have a plan of a book. And I'm like, what book? You were handing me like a Stephen King book. And I remember you saying that he was looking at you like he would have killed you.
Oh, yes. He was so mad. He was so angry at being interrupted or whatever was going on. Yeah, he was not having it.
Ultimately, I got him to go. I finally got rid of him, but there's a couple of lessons. The couple lessons are just remain so casual with somebody, very casually get to know them for a while. No matter what chemistry you feel, you have to get past that stuff. That's not enough. And you have to get to the point where you get to know somebody enough and you realize either that, yeah, this could be something, or or no, this was a stupid idea. For whatever reason. Usually they fizzle out because anybody could be fun. Most people, not the Star Wars guy, but a lot of people could be fun initially, but then they run out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was this other guy. We went to Ruby Tuesdays. But it was nice enough, it was fine. Like, no, I don't have a problem with meeting in Ruby. I'm just laughing because the place went out of business. Like now it's like,
Oh, the one that's over. Yeah. The one that's by you?
yeah, it
The
was
one
fine.
that was by you. Yeah. I had also gone there.
Laughing. It was a nice place. It had the Tiffany lamps, and he was so sweet. He was being really generous, and unfortunately, that used to get me when someone was generous with me. That's fine, but it's just not enough. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the time, and he was very sweet, and he was interesting about a couple of things. But on the second date, I realized he had run out. He hit rewind. It was like the end of the tape, right? It was
Oh
like
boy.
You
He gave you all the good stuff.
you have to get to know somebody to make sure they're not going to go to the end of a tape and then rewind. That's what you do.
Yes. Definitely.
And it was really hard breaking up with him. It was very hard to get rid of the people because I allowed it to get too serious too fast rather than laughing about it, lighthearted and
Oh yeah. It's very hard to I dated that person for like 2 years and
yeah.
I wanted to break up with him for quite some time before I got the courage to do it because I felt really bad.
Yeah.
You
did. But you also, it was either that or you might have killed him.
Once again, I get very irritated with people very easily. Like he would sit next to me and I would move over and then he would move over. Or he'd want to hold hands while walking. These aren't things that are for me.
No,
I want to walk. Don't hang on to me. I need to just walk.
I like to hold hands. I don't want to hold hands.
I know. We are very opposite.
At the time, I would have done it more probably all the time. But now it's like, I don't want that all the time. You know what the hard part is about holding hands? It's like, it's sweaty.
Yeah, I don't want your sweaty hand. I also don't want to walk in sync with you. Like I just want to walk the way I walk.
You start to feel like the Rockettes. What do you do? It's very hard to maintain that. It's like this whole fake narrative thing.
Well, listen, I'm not a hand holder at all. Like I might be nice and let you do it for a minute, but I just why are we holding hands? You're not a child. Just leave me alone.
I don't know how I feel about that anymore.
I'll never forget the time we came over your house. Dad used to make fun of me for this all the time. I don't know what he did, but apparently I was like, we talked about that. You just teased me about that forever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was it though?
I think he might have been trying to touch you.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing I hate more. Wow, I sound like the worst person in the world, by the way, but there is nothing I hate more than if I have told you that something bothers me and you continue to do it. That makes me insane. Because I've expressed to you how uncomfortable you're making me feel, and you clearly don't care. That annoys me.
Yeah, he completely ignored what you said and just did it anyway. Yeah.
Yes. Then I feel like you're purposely ignoring me and my feelings, and I don't like that.
I understand that.
I'm not putting up with it.
Well, you didn't quite get it, but
no, that poor guy.
At that point, I think I would have walked out in shame. Oh my God,
I know. You know what? He was a very nice person.
He was. It just was not a good fit for you. No. And the problem is that you didn't want to hurt his feelings, so you let it go on for a while.
Yeah, I did.
And that is, because if once you know this is not going to work, that's it.
I know. I also felt bad because I was like, why don't I like him? He's so nice.
I don't know. How come I fell in love with someone? I know. I love Michael for a lot of reasons, but there was a lot of stuff that really. Why did I fall in love with him? Why?
I don't know.
It's the eternal question. Why do we fall in love with certain people?
I don't know because I could not see that at all. You know how I felt about that.
I had friends who were like, I can see it. He did have a lot of good stuff, but he also had a lot of bad stuff. He had both, but he had serious stuff.
I was not a big fan.
Yeah. I don't, to this day, I still think about it. Actually, he'll creep in my head. And then I'm like, no. I just want to think about Casey. But I think it's just because I haven't had any relationships since then.
Yeah.
There's no denying that I loved him, and
Uh,
he loved
if I'm
me. He loved me.
if I'm being honest, me and Casey had a lot of conversations about.
Yeah. And I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, they were mostly us having fun, really. They weren't serious.
Oh, really? Casey was laughing about it?
Well, yeah, the nickname he gave him, we would laugh about that a lot.
Hobo.
I didn't know if you wanted to say it, but
care.
it was so funny.
Because Michael dressed very poorly, and he would wear anything he found in the thrift shop. And plus, he did a lot of work with his hands and all that kind of stuff. Like he worked on a lot of wiring, crawling through ceilings and various things.
Yes.
And so, and that's fine. But he just wore things that were so stupid too. Like he wore a Jets jacket, even though he didn't like sports.
With a Marlboro jacket. He didn't smoke, but he seemed to have a Marlboro jacket.
DJ, and he collected all the cigarette packets that people started in the driveway, and he had all Marlboro things. He had Marlboro luggage.
Yes.
Hats.
I also sent away for some Marlboro stuff because I was a smoker. But
at least
because you saved the miles from the pack.
Yeah.
And then you could redeem them for garbage merchandise.
He had it all, and he wore, and it had been many years since he was a DJ when I met him, and he still had that stupid jacket.
Oh, yes. He sure did.
Yeah, and my son, when he looked at him, when he first met him, he pulled me aside. Casey was little, Casey was like 6 or 7.
Always so clever, though.
Probably 7, because that's the age when they really start speaking their mind, and he pulls me into the laundry room. He's like, "Mommy, you have to break up with him right now. You didn't tell me he was a hobo."
Casey came out of the womb funny.
He did.
Just the hobo. And I would always sing that, well, not sing because there's no words, but the Sanford and Son.
He was a hoarder, and he hoarded up my house. It was very bad. It was bad. It was really bad. But we had a connection, and he was very supportive of my career. When we went away places, he would take me to all the bookstores and meet the owners and talk about my books. That was really sweet.
Yeah, he had good points.
And they didn't have a sign for me at Barnes & Noble's. So he went in the art supply place and he made a sign that looked, I don't know how he did it, but it looked really professional to put in their lobby. Because if you don't have a sign for your signing and you're not famous, good luck. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's true.
And so he did that. Like he did very sweet things for me. And he also did pretty crummy stuff, we had it was a tough relationship. It really, I don't know what to say about it. I wrote about it in Lunar Rising. He's Trip in Lunar Rising, and that goes through a hell of a lot. And then there was more after that. I started writing a whole other book, but at the time it was really too much for me,
Well, I feel like a lot of women could relate to that kind of relationship. I feel like every woman has one of those relationships at some point in her life.
It depends on the woman. Some people are just somehow born a little bit like more wise about knowing what they want.
I know, but how often do you meet those people?
I actually know a stunning amount of them.
Really? I know some, but not a lot.
People that are happily married and they met their husband when they were young. It was maybe not the first dated, but it was for a serious date, and so they did not have this kind of turmoil.
Interesting.
I didn't have any real examples either. There's a lot of psychology behind it. Like my father, he was never there. My mother was bipolar or something to that effect. I don't know. More than bipolar. She had 2 It wasn't even just bipolar. It was like different stuff was happening. You know what I mean? Like she had different voices, So
yes, I have experienced those.
Yeah. And you never knew what she was going to be. And so there was really no stability. My aunt was what passes for stable. She was a woman who was working on a coffee barge and making it into a concert hall and driving around with a Volkswagen with a hole in the floor. She was wonderful, but extremely bohemian, and bohemians are not the most stable. I put myself in the category. But so I learned from Luke and Laura. This is not the best. General Hospital is not a good way to learn about relationships because soap operas are complete turmoil. That's what
Yes.
they are. So
Well, that's why we watch them.
that's what I thought a relationship was like. Those were my examples for relationships. It's a recipe for disaster.
Well,
Yeah.
let's hope that you learned and that the
Oh, I
widow
learned
site
so
goes
much.
well.
I learned so much. I want to meet somebody who is on the same level as me in all ways. That's the best way to put it.
Okay, well,
I
we
have
shall see.
I've risen to the level where I think I can. I've risen to a different level. My guru, who I mentioned, Dr. Silver, my chiropractor, was warning me not to date back then. He's like, because water seeks its own level. In other words, you're crazy, bitch. But I didn't listen because crazies don't listen.
Listen, in the words of Alice in Chains, why you act crazy? Not an act, maybe.
Exactly. But I've worked so hard on myself. I'm going to say a lot of people, I think anybody's capable of change if they really want to. A lot of people want to do it, but wanting is not enough. You have to actually do the work. It's a lot of work. Like Dr. No.
Every time I know, that's what I was thinking too. Anytime someone says that, that's what I think of now.
It's true though, because it's not just like poof, it's going to happen. A lot of people think, okay, I did that. You did one thing. Oh boy, but it's a lot of work. And I did it, and I'm really proud of myself. And it's been a long, long journey. And honestly, I don't think I was in shape to date, after I lost Casey. But now I'm in a better place. I'm always going to be grieving, but now there's a place for a relationship in my life, and so I'm gonna go for it.
All right. Well, we are all very excited for you.
Was it like 2 episodes ago? We're like, I'm never gonna date again. Yeah.
Yes, but whatever. People change their minds.
That song.
That's okay.
Again. I'm never gonna date again. Yeah. So
All right.
that's all I really had to say. So we're kind of on time. Pretty good.
Crazy.
I have just one quote that I figured I'd just give a quote from Lunar Rising because there's a lot of pontificating about relationships in this book. So I thought that I would put this quote: being in a relationship was like falling into water, sink or swim. And a relationship was like water. No matter how hard you tried, there was only so much of it you could hold on to in your palms, and even that was bound to seep through the cracks eventually. The only thing to do was splash around in it while you could, or get out.
I think that sums it up nicely.
Thank you. Do you have a quote?
Wise words.
Thank you.
I have 3. I only have 1 for the next episode, but I have 3 for this episode. And of course, they are sassy and not classy as usual.
I like that. Sassy, not classy.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the first one is by, I don't know, Anonymous, but I definitely agree with this. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but we all know these people. So it's the best sign of a healthy relationship is no sign of it on Facebook. We all know those people. And you watch, it goes up and then it crashes. Then they get someone new, it goes up and then it crashes. And you're like, really, really? It's very annoying. So if you do that, don't do that anymore. The next one is by the late, great Richard Lewis.
I love him.
Yeah. So it's when you're in love, it's the most glorious 2.5 days of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
And this one's a little less sassy. It's by Lewis Carroll. And it says, because I feel like this a lot, I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes with what you were saying. I think the us of 10 years ago would never, I would never put up with what I put up with then.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't. I absolutely don't.
No, you don't. Yeah. Yeah.
So here you go.
To us, evolved people.
Cheers, look.
There we go. Cheers. Yeah, we're drinking our water and seltzer. All right.
Yes, instead of alcohol.
Well, I can't drink in the day. That's out of the question. If I want to function.
I know. I used to love day drinking so much. Now I drink water.
I
and
can't.
Tea, like an old bag.
I never liked it as much as night drinking, but I would do it. But now I can night drinking, day drinking. By the way, did you notice on Howard Stern that Beth was like, I drink at least 2 glasses of wine a night now?
Good for her.
I think she's like getting a little frazzled with everything in her life. Like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're funny, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, no sugar. She's like, I just
Oh
ate
my God.
cinnamon life. She's
Oh
so
boy.
thin, but her blood
It
sugar
is.
is doing it. So at least she doesn't have total escape from the consequences of her actions.
No,
I do love Beth. I love what she does for animals, I have to say. Everybody
I do
donate.
too. Yes,
Everybody-
Beth's furry friends.
yes. All right. With that, weren't we going to say a new end to what we were going to say something different at the end of our episodes?
I don't know.
No, we decided this at the end of the last one.
Oh,
I was
I don't remember.
so excited that I don't remember. All right. Well, I'll say adieu again because I can't remember what else to say.
I'm going to say, see, you wouldn't want to be you. Because
Oh,
that's a classic.
all right.
No, goodbye, everybody. How's that?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why Milo's Rewards members get a free paint or exterior stain sample to test your look and find the perfect color to confidently refresh your space. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid in-store only 6/19 through 6/25. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See associate for details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.